So the NAS100 market has made an all-time high. It is definitely exciting. And if you remember from last week, I talked about how exciting that can be. And look, it has. So now that we have an all-time high, we definitely need to readjust our levels so that way we can make sure that we're following the market. And if you're looking for an easier way to follow the market, then go ahead and continue to watch, because in this video, I'm going to talk about my entries, my exits, and my profit targets for this particular market, NAS100. So as usual, let's go ahead and start on the weekly time frame. And I'm just going to get rid of all of these drawings, especially because we have fresh new levels that we can look at, and we want to make sure that we're doing our analysis and keeping it fresh. All right, so now we have this market. There's one more minute left inside of this market, so I don't anticipate any crazy moves. So for right now, I'm just going to mark off the level right here. So the all-time high currently is 23,345. So that is where my level is sitting. And as far as another level here on the weekly time frame, let's go ahead and mark off a level way down here at 21,474, really close to 75. And then there is another level that I see that I want to mark off somewhere in here at this old resistance, and this is going to be at 22,132. So these are basically like my anchor points inside of this market. Let's go ahead and go to the daily. All right, so let's refresh. Okay, so now that we're on the daily time frame, we can see a lot better what this market is looking like. We do see a level of resistance that we saw before, but let's go ahead and clean this up. So right now, I'm just going to move it up just a little bit, and now it's at 22,191, and we still have our all-time high. Not going to touch that. And then we have this level that we drew off around 21,470. Still going to keep that. Let's go to the H4. If you've taken a trade and you're looking for some feedback on your trade, maybe you took a trade and it was successful and you want to know what you should do right in order to continue that success, and you have no one to talk to give you some valid feedback, then go ahead and check out the Express Trade Review in the comment section below, because in that you'll get my personalized review. You'll also get some tips and things that I use in order to find profitable trades. I tend to have this turned around within 48 hours. So you could be able to use the information for your next trade. And you'll also get a PDF where I'll share with you the top 3 things that I look for every time before taking a trade that really emphasize the entries that I take inside of the market. Go ahead and click in the description box below and look for the Express Trade Review, so that way you can get your trades reviewed by a professional. All right. Now we have even more data inside of this market. We can see that price has pierced this up here. We're just going to leave it alone. And if we scoot in these candles, we can see the waves of the market a lot better. I'm going to draw it around this 23,000 zone, especially because this is a nice round psychological number. So this other level that I'm getting ready to draw is around this 22,500 zone, mainly because we do have all these crazy wicks right in here. So to be more precise, this zone is at 22,482. So I am satisfied with that. And then looking at this other zone that we drew here, is actually looking pretty good. Even though it looks a little crazy right now, we're just going to keep that the way that it is. So let's go ahead and go down to the H2 time frame. All right, so yeah, this is still looking good right here. A lot of choppiness within here. And this level, I'm actually going to bring it down a little bit. So now we're sitting at 455, and let's go over here. Still, actually, we can make this a little bit slimmer. I am going to move it down just a little bit. And so for now, we're going to keep this around this level, but now we're sitting at 21,434. So still looking good. So let's go ahead and go to the H1 time frame, so that way we could possibly adjust these levels before we get into our game plan. Okay, so this level here, it is looking a little thick. So let me just go ahead and go to the H4 or the daily so that way I can find the anchor point. And when you're drawing these levels, you're going to have to do the same thing. So let's just go ahead and just make it a lot slimmer. And there was one more that I wanted to move as well. So pretty much the average has not moved. I'm just making these a little thinner. So let's go ahead and go back to the H1. Okay, so now we can see that this level here is sitting at 23,300. 23.25 and it's super clean. So that looks good. This is still looking good. And if we go down to these zones down here, we can see that they're still looking good. So let's just scroll over and just look at them super quick. Actually, this level right here, I do want to move this now that I got more structure. Actually want to move it right about here. And this is now sitting at 22,413. And this level is still looking pretty good. It's got a lot of consolidation in there, but it's still looking good. Okay, so now that we have some cleaner levels inside of this NAS100 market, let's go ahead and mark up these levels for our game plan. So one level that I see that is super obvious to me is right here. Let me actually drag it back. It's right here at 23,227, and that is a strong support level right there. So what I'll be looking for is obviously following the trend, looking for additional buys. So I would look for price to come down here to this level and then possibly trade back up. Or that's 92 points inside of this market, so it's a little bit more shallower range, but still nice. So seeing if price come to here and then back up to here. So that's an idea for sure. I've created another community here on School called Consistent Profitable Traders. And if you want to join, you can go to school.com/traders in order to join this free membership. I have a number of things here inside of the community. You can see that the community is growing. There are people being added almost every single day. And then inside of the classroom, I do have some things here. I'm constantly adding new things, new resources for new traders. And if you go over to the calendar, then you'll see that I have a monthly call with everybody inside of this group. So if you want to join this community, go ahead and go to school.com/traders and I'll see you there. So I would look for a price to do a steeper retracement, and that would be quite tragic if it came down to 22,992 and then continue to bounce up, but these markets can do whatever. So as far as my game plan, definitely following the buys. And since we are at all-time highs, there is a possibility for price to break it. So going to the H4 time frame, using my Fibonacci retracement from the bottom to the top, going up a little bit, and basically looking at 23,436 as a potential target zone, especially because we've been doing this week after week, and we have seen price push up, and it has been respecting these levels. So that's why I like doing this. So that's a potential area, perhaps an even smaller area here. If that seems too large of a target, we could draw a fib from here and then the same ending spot. So if we were to complete this fib, we can see that there is a level roughly right here at about 23,394. So that could be another target as well, just basically just following the waves of the market. So let's go ahead and put some horizontal rays in this area just so that way we can see them for later. So that is a potential area. And then also this other area is a potential area right here. So let's go ahead and get rid of these fibs so we can keep our charts clean. Awesome. So now we have our game plan for this upcoming week. And if you liked this sort of analysis, then go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel, because now we are posting 3 times a week. That is Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday. So go ahead and check those out, and I will see you there.